Here are three reasons why I'm still buying XLM. Reason number one is because I like its room for growth. Even though nothing I say is financial advice, if XLM were to go to the price of $10 during this bull run, which is my price target for it, at that point, that's around a 40x from here. Now, some people may think, oh, it's actually not that much, but theoretically, if let's say I were to put $1,000 into XLM right now, and let's say it were to go to the price of $10, now at that point, that $1,000 would hypothetically be worth around 40 grand. And now I'm not telling anyone to buy XLM. This is just personally my perspective, but the way you take a look at it is that XLM is really such a no-brainer pick for me. And the way you take a look at it is that there's so many bullish factors for this bull run because there's over 600 million crypto owners according to Crypto.com research currently. That's more than ever before in history. That's very impressive. During the peak of the 2021 bull run, there was roughly around 300 million crypto owners. Again, now we basically have double. This is how amazing it is. Or should I say how amazing this bull run could hypothetically be, at least the upcoming peak of it. Not to mention as well, the way I view it is that now there's no more of this negative sentiment that kind of clouds something like Stellar, aka XLM, and also something like Ripple. Now, the reason being is because of the Ripple and SEC case allegedly hopefully dropping forever. And I think not only is that going to benefit something like XRP, but also naturally, I think it's going to trickle down to something like Stellar. And this is what I do really like about it. I believe that now the space has really nothing holding it back, at least when it comes to these projects that are focused on global trade and finance and the payments market. Not to mention, $10, in my opinion, I don't think is even that crazy at all, because if it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $310 billion. Again, how is this too much to ask for? Keep in mind, Ethereum back in 2021 exceeded this market cap by around $240 billion. Could you imagine that? And again, just like I mentioned before, in 2021, even during the peak of that bull run, we had way less crypto owners than right now. And I still don't believe that we've seen the peak of the bull run this time around. Of course, there's going to be the end of the bull run. But again, even not during a fully fledged hypothetical peak of what a bull run could be, in my opinion, at least this time around, we still have more crypto owners, or should I say way more crypto owners than back in the peak of the 2021 bull run. So I believe that this time around, man, it could be so special, at least hypothetically, which is why I'm still staying patient. Now, some people may be wondering, okay, why would you be happy with a hypothetical 40x? The way you take a look at it is that, of course, this isn't a microcap. It can't do like a 1000x in the next 6 to 10 months. I'm totally aware of that. And quite frankly, even when it comes to a lot of these microcaps, there's no guarantee, right? Again, they are microcaps. They're relatively very unproven. The community, we don't really know how massive it is in some cases. We don't know the passion, the drive. We don't know what the project is even really doing in most cases. There's really no proven track record in many of these microcaps. So I am not really going to want to take a risk on that. But then at the same time, I'm not going to get into some random dinosaur like, Bitcoin or Ethereum. They're not bad in terms of the fundamentals, of course. In terms of the fundamentals, A+. In terms of the hypothetical upside, percentage-wise, in terms of price in the next 6 to 10 months, it's a little bit of a dinosaur status, in my opinion. And when it comes to something like XLM, it's just much more dynamic. That's the way you take a look at it. Much more hypothetical room for growth. As of right now, the way you take a look at it is that, again, XLM had a pretty big price pullback. But if anything, I think it's a good thing for me because I think the lower the price, the better the buying opportunity, which is why I haven't given up when it comes to this. Now, this actually brings me to my second reason as to why I'm still buying XLM, and that is because of the rock-solid fundamentals of Stellar, and let me explain why. When it comes to Stellar, I think people do really love how it's a very lightning-fast blockchain, and I do agree with that sentiment because I think it is very fast, and it's very necessary, in my opinion, for the world of payments, for the world of global trade and finance. We don't want something that's slow. And when it comes to Stellar, again, it has that box tick. Keep in mind, the payments market is currently valued at over $2 trillion. I mean, that's really amazing. Not to mention as well, the global trade and finance market is predicted to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028, according to Mordor Intelligence. So, I mean, one could only imagine that the markets that they're really focused on could be something very amazing, at least predicted to. Not to mention now, because of the Ripple and SEC case hopefully allegedly dropping forever, just like I mentioned earlier in the video, now there's really, again, none of this negative sentiment, which I think clouded this space for quite a while. So this is, of course, really going to benefit Stellar moving forward, not only just XRP. Not to mention as well, when I take a look at something like ISO 20022, I think it is very crucial for a project that is focused on the payments market, let's say the global trade and finance market, to have aspects of that, or at least let's say be ISO 20022 compatible. And again, I believe that a project needs that if they're focused on this space. If they're not, then it's kind of like going to a pizza restaurant, but they don't sell any pizza. They're selling ice cream only instead. It's like, wow, then why not call it an ice cream parlor or something? But the way you take a look at it is this. When it comes to Stellar, it has that box tick because it does have aspects of ISO 20022. And the amazing thing about, again, ISO, if I say the number again, it's going to seem very repetitive, but again, I'll just say it, ISO 20022. The amazing thing about that is that is currently being used by many financial institutions from all around the world for something called inter-organizational data exchange. So it's something up and running. It's not experimental. It's not like, hey, there's this concept thing, let's try it out. This project's compatible with it. No, that's not the case. So I do love that when it comes to Stellar. Not to mention, when I take a look at something like Ripple, of course, it has that aspect too. We also take a look at something like XDC. But some other projects out there within this space, they don't have those aspects, which is, again, it's not like there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but it's just kind of something that doesn't really make sense to me if they are indeed focused on this space. If they're focused on NFTs or something like that, then okay, it doesn't really matter, but then still, it's crucial. And Stellar, it has that box tick. Not to mention, Stellar has a very amazing community. The community is kind of like meme coin-like. Now, that's not a disrespect type of thing, because the way you take a look at it is that when it comes to these meme coin projects, they usually are very passionate. When it comes to the community, they're very driven. But when it comes to Stellar, it's like that. But of course, XLM isn't a meme coin. So it's kind of like a best of both worlds type of scenario. XLM also listed in, hypothetically, or should I say, at least feels like, a bunch of these major exchanges. So it's not lacking in terms of exposure. Yes, there's a price pullback, but I think better days are ahead, because this actually brings me to my third and final reason as to why I'm still buying XLM. And that is because, as the old saying goes, a high tide raises all ships. Like I mentioned in the first section of the video, there's currently over 600 million crypto owners as of right now, which is more than ever before in history. So that's amazing, at least according to Crypto.com research. Not to mention, we take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, the number of institutional investors, the amount of enterprise adoption. I do believe that this bull run really has the makings of something that could be so special. Not to mention, altcoins usually, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. And the last Bitcoin halving event happened in April of last year, so 18 months from then would actually mean around October this year. The way you take a look at it is that maybe, even based off history, as a worst case, we still could have a ways to go. $10 for XLM? That wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Bye.